Hi folks, here's our weekly update for English 560, Shakespeare's Plays. We're up to week number 8 now, the week of October 19th. We actually take a step back chronologically to pick up measure for measure. Because of the fall break, I'll ask you to have both the quiz completed and your initial response blog posted by Wednesday the 21st. That will give us a couple of days to talk about the play once you've got it under control. I should probably explain the odd organization of the reading list here. As you know, I've generally set up our reading list in chronological order, the better to trace the playwright's development and interests during his career, but I wanted to tackle King Lear before the theater department's production of it, and don't forget, that opens this week. I've posted a link to their information page on our announcements, and there's information about the review assignment in your syllabus. Do let me know if any questions about any of that stuff. In order to get back into the chronological sequence, we really should be heading back to Hamlet next. But I really thought that 2 tragedies in a row would be a bit much. So we'll tackle Measure for Measure, which was likely written in about 1604, and then move on next week to Hamlet, which helped open the Globe back in 1600. Calling Measure for Measure a comedy is a bit of a stretch, though. And I think you'll see some interesting connections with King Lear, and especially with Othello, when we pick that up early in November. Critics like calling Measure for Measure a problem comedy, and that generally means that they really don't know what to do with it. Shakespeare appears to have left behind his bright, festive mood with plays like A Midsummer Night's Dream and As You Like It. He seems to have lost that shortly after moving into the Globe Theatre, and especially after the death of Elizabeth and the changing of the guard, so to speak, to King James. The comedies of his middle period, Measure for Measure, All's Well That Ends Well, have a darker, more brooding quality to them. Though if you want a real problem comedy, try Troilus and Cressida someday. Measure for Measure, then, will allow us to talk a little bit about how Shakespeare thinks about genre. But more importantly, it returns us to those ideas of love, sexuality, and responsibility that we did see coming up even in A Midsummer Night's Dream. This time, however, there are no fairies to help us sort things out, just troubled, recognizable men and women who are struggling to understand themselves and their place in their society. At this point in his career, comedy apparently doesn't mean a lot of laughs for William Shakespeare. One other thing I should mention, if you're used to exploring the online resources that I've been posting on our ACE site, you'll notice that I don't have an audio introduction or class note handout for this play. I haven't taught Measure for Measure all that often, and so I haven't been able to build up that kind of support material for this that I have for other plays. That means that I'm really looking forward to the kind of fresh ideas, new insights that you all will be bringing to this play. But, of course, there's nothing new about that.